I recently watched rewatched a SpongeBob episode, a pretty familiar one, even if you're not like a big fan of the show, you probably heard some lines from the episode, namely, "Look at it! Look at it!" It's Something Smells is what it's called. It's the first episode in season 2, at least on Amazon. It's about SpongeBob eating his ice cream sundae. I don't want to give away too much of the plot. I'm going to explain it briefly, and hopefully you'll be entertained by that. But then there is an important lesson to get to at the end, so I hope that you'll stay tuned for that. So without further ado, welcome back to the Stoic Sponge, lessons from SpongeBob rooted in biblical and Stoic principles. The episode opens with SpongeBob realizing what day it is, Sunday, which obviously means you're going to have an ice cream sundae for breakfast. This is news to me, but it's a surprise, but a pleasant one. He doesn't have the ingredients, as he quickly realizes that he was planning to or would normally put into his sundae. So he finds the next best thing. Oh, you don't have ice cream? No matter, just ketchup. So yeah, that's not a leap at all. Just add some ketchup instead of ice cream. And then, oh, you don't have cookie dough or what have you, onions, perfect, peanut plant, stuff like it. He makes a horrible sundae. Like, I was about to say ice cream sundae. It's not even ice cream at that point. But apparently he liked it because he seemed pretty satisfied after eating it. Quickly realizing that he doesn't have to go to work today because it's Sunday, he decides to do his tasks for that day, which include saying hi to everyone in Bikini Bottom. And that does seem like a trivial thing, or I guess it would seem like it to some. But I think the world, I know the world could use more of that, actually. It's like, oh yeah, when I'm at the store, maybe I'll just say hi to a couple people. Maybe I'll make a connection with someone at the gas station when I happen to be there. So yeah, more of that would be good. As he says hi to everyone, I guess he quickly realizes that everyone is like avoiding him once he's talked to them for a couple minutes. The mailman, some random strangers, even the, oh my goodness, what is it? What is that called? The traffic guard like runs away while the kids are still in the road due to SpongeBob. He eventually finds Patrick, who he at first thought was a pile of bubblegum on a bench, and tells him what's going on. It's like, everyone's like running away from me and I don't know what the issue is. Now, is it wise to seek counsel, particularly with an issue that you're not very familiar with, let alone even know what the cause of it is? Yes. It says in the word that there's wisdom in the abundance of counselors, so something like that. But is it also wise to choose a wise counselor? Also, yes. Bro really said, yeah, who's probably the wisest person that can determine what the issue is here? I know, Patrick Star. Look, I like Patrick as much as the next SpongeBob fan, but it's not productive to lie. He's not like the wisest kid out there, the wisest guy. So yeah, SpongeBob's like, oh, people are running away from me. And Patrick's like, oh, it's probably because maybe it's because of what you're wearing. They're like, no, maybe it's because of your voice. No, it's not that. And he's like, oh, probably because you're ugly then. He's like, oh, well, it can't be that. It pulls up a mirror. And I guess sense can go through the mirror because his reflection like breaks the glass. And so SpongeBob's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, there's an example. You said it's a massive psychological operation going on here because Patrick said, okay, you're ugly and your reflection doesn't like you, so it must be because you're ugly. So SpongeBob, realizing this, is pretty upset and even depressed, playing the keyboard with a disguise on. Not that necessarily is indicative of being depressed, but I'm looking at the gallery here, and that's what happened. And another note, how big is SpongeBob's house? It looks to me like it could be like 2 stories, but then he's got hallways and a library. Anyway, Patrick tries it. I will give Patrick credit, even though he's not, as I said, he's not the wisest guy. He is, he's determined and he does his best to help. And there's some validity to the recommendation he had for SpongeBob. He told him, well, first he told him, whoa, why don't you just do what I do when I have problems? scream. And I guess what he meant is to declare, audibly what the situation was and that he wasn't ashamed of it. And like I said, there's some validity to that. Again, this is all rooted in the fact that he was wrong about what the issue was. It's not because SpongeBob was ugly, but nonetheless, he had SpongeBob say, "I'm ugly and I'm proud." And I guess, yeah, just getting a better perspective on what the perceived issue was. And that is a biblical idea. It's like the power of life and death is within the tongue. That's that is absolutely true. And I don't know if that is just a fact in and of itself. It is, or if it's meaning more so like the psychology of, if you say this thing, if you say I'm confident, you'll probably begin to feel more confident, or vice versa. I don't know what the reasons are, but I know it is the case. Your words are powerful. So after SpongeBob, shouts, "I'm ugly and I'm proud," literally from the rooftop, even getting Squidward's attention, he decides, okay, yeah, well, at this point, as I said, I'm ugly and I'm proud. Now I feel proud about it, so I'm going to go to the theater and, this is the new me. So he starts talking to people and he's like, "Oh, I'm ugly and I hope that's not an issue for you." But then same issue, the people start like dying and floating away. I guess I should have started with the lesser of the things first. People start floating away and then even dying. And eventually SpongeBob, he gets discouraged again. He's like, "Man, I'm not as confident as I look or as I seem." And then Patrick is like, yeah, Patrick's loyal. I'll say that much too. That's where the line from the beginning that I said, he's like, "Look at it." He picks up SpongeBob and he's like making everyone, because again, he sat here thinking, oh man, they all are just avoiding him because they think he's ugly. So he forces them to look at him, and then literally they drive out the entire theater. Or I guess I should say the theater, everyone in the theater decides to walk out, because as it says in Spider-Man 3, we always have a choice. So they all ran out. Not even the workers were there to give them some concessions. But due to that fact, SpongeBob reached into his pocket, which I guess was full of the rest of his sundae for the whole day. And he gave some to Patrick, who, again, didn't have a nose, so he couldn't smell it. Which also makes me question to what extent he can taste, because I know smelling is part of it. But since he couldn't smell, it was his eyebrows that got the brunt of or however you say that, they got the bulk of the scent from the sundae disintegrated his eyebrows, which is crazy. But he eats it and is like, "Oh yeah, that's great." He goes to the bathroom, starts talking with different people, and they start running away from him. And he has no idea what the issue is. But, convinced so thoroughly that SpongeBob's issue was being ugly, he determines, "I've caught the ugly." I believe that's exactly what he said. So he's hiding in the bathroom with a paper bag over his head. And then he's like, SpongeBob eventually finds him and he tells SpongeBob, he's like, "Look at me. Yeah, I caught the ugly from you." And even SpongeBob is convinced, like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right." Until Patrick starts to talk a bit closer, and SpongeBob, who does have a nose, is able to smell his breath. And he's like, "Oh, you're not ugly. Your breath just smells bad." And this is I guess the main idea / issue, but I'd like to paint in even a good light, the main idea. Again, they were convinced. They had convinced themselves, or I guess Patrick was convinced, and therefore convinced SpongeBob, who, had convinced himself that because he was ugly, people were avoiding him. But that wasn't the case at all. And then because of, how determined or how convinced they were of this whole issue, Patrick was then convinced he was ugly. And so then he was all discouraged because of it. It's like, no, yeah, that wasn't what was going on at all. And the idea is that you got to be careful what you convince yourself of. And that's not even, I'm not even just saying in general, like, "Oh, I'm choosing to believe this philosophy I read from a book." But it's like, no, man, what you engage with, or I guess what you consume even online. People talking about, "Oh yeah, I was watching Reels." It's like, really? Oh, what's on your reels? I don't know. People being mean and songs about life is so horrible and this stuff. It's like, no wonder you like can't sleep at night and you feel horrible. Like, don't tell me you feel horrible until you show me your influences. Then I'll adjust your influences, man. In my feed, in the kind of stuff I save is the like, this is the comeback year, we're getting hype, or, listening to hype music to kind of get in the mood for what's, but yeah, it's like the fact that you can be so easily convinced of something is, again, it's like I said with a previous video, it's like you can determine in large part who you are. It's an encouraging thing, but also, I don't want to say frightening, but you should be cautious of that fact. So, instead of convincing yourself of something that not only isn't true, but is like not beneficial to believe, like you're doing yourself a disservice. Again, SpongeBob and Patrick, they're like, oh, just thinking they're ugly. But yeah, even in the case of that being the case, you have to determine within yourself that it's like, you know what, if I'm only letting this affect me because I care what other people think about it, then you just have to stop caring what other people think in that regard. Even if SpongeBob was ugly, then he would just have to decide, yeah, what he did earlier. It's like, I'm ugly and I'm proud. And you don't necessarily have to be proud about X, Y, Z. But anyway, yeah, I guess a lot of the recent videos have been about perspective and choosing how to view something. It's like this one is along those lines. But yeah, be careful of your influences and I don't want to say take advantage because it has a negative connotation, but have a productive way of optimizing your influences. Like I said, like the stuff or follow pages that are inspirational or spur you on to good action, and speak with people that will speak truth and life, kindness and truth into your life. Not that are just gonna, how would you say? Not people that are just gonna say something you want to hear, but the things you need to hear, which oftentimes is encouraging and should be. It's like an enemy multiplies kisses, but wounds from a friend can be trusted. It's like, yeah, have people in your life that are wise, that'll tell you the truth, and then of course look into it yourself. Like SpongeBob just literally took Patrick for his word, I guess, because then he saw the example of the mirror not accepting him. But in any case, so yeah, just to bring it all back home, is like, be careful of your influences, make sure they're good ones, and acknowledge when you're being punked. Like, just always be able to critically think. It's like, is this true? Let's look into it. And convince yourself of the encouraging and hope-filled truth. I've been thinking of a line from a 21 Pilots song. It's like, life, the last part of the line is, life has a hopeful undertone. And I agree, and it does. Regardless of your situation, there's hope to be found. And so convince yourself of that, because it is true. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening. I sincerely hope that this helps. So apply it today, the lesson, the principle, wherever and wherever. Wait, did I say? So apply the lesson, the principle, whenever and wherever applicable. Do stay tuned for more videos coming soon. And in the meantime, click here for the full playlist of lessons from SpongeBob for some more fun and important videos like this. If you don't know Christ, there's no better day to meet him than today. It says in the Word that if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, then you will be saved. So there's no better decision you can make than that. Any thoughts you have on the video, or if you just want to say hi, comment down below, and I look forward to hearing from you and responding. Remember to treat others the way that you want to be treated, to love God and to love your neighbor, and therefore you will be your best self. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, it's an honor.